Yes, and yes, I am considered by many to be quintessentially English. It's a phrase that's often used. And I find it interesting that two of the 20th century's figures of whom you would most use that phrase are probably Winston Churchill and Agatha Christie, who absolutely typify everything it is to be English. And in both cases, like me, they had foreign parents. They were only half English. Churchill was half American, as you probably know. His mother was an American woman. Agatha Christie's father was an American. My parents, my father's very English, but my mother's family was Middle European Jewish on both sides. And I think sometimes not belonging to a culture, especially one as established and as naturally replete with its iconography of oak trees and Robin Hood and Shakespeare and cricket and castles and royalty and so on, but having a family who are embarrassingly foreign and swooped in from Israel and New York, bearing presents and doing that thing that no Englishman can possibly abide, which is talking about food. And what should we eat? We should eat what you don't eat. I don't talk about eating. It's like talking about going to the lavatory. You can't possibly do that. So I was filled with the embarrassment of the part of me that wanted to be totally English and say, you know, pretend that my foreign family didn't exist. And a great self-consciousness about what it was to be English. And to move that onto our subject, that begins, I was sent away to boarding school when I was 7, so it was like 200 miles from home, which in English terms is the entire length of the country. So my parents seemed to send me away very early to go and stay there. And the day was marked out by religious services, as they are in these schools. And then it was in the public school after that. Again, and I became immensely interested and immensely moved by the music, the architecture, the liturgy, and everything to do with religion. And I wanted to be a priest, an Anglican priest, but high Anglican. I liked it. I liked the music. I liked the smells. I liked the ritual. I liked the feeling of belonging. I loved everything about it. And it got to the stage where I actually went to see the suffragan bishop of Lynn in Norfolk. I didn't quite know what a suffragan bishop is. It's one of those words that's only ever applied to bishop. You never meet a suffragan teacher or a suffragan brain surgeon or something. But anyway, it was a suffragan bishop. And he chatted to me and we talked about theology and so on. And then he asked a question about God. And I said, oh, well, that's my one problem. He said, go on. I said, you know, I've never been spoken to by God or spoken to God or have any real sense that there could be such a thing, because the beauty of the church is it's made by man. The Anglican Church in particular was constructed in a very short time by Archbishop Cranmer and Henry VIII to some extent. And I liked it. I liked what it stood for. I liked its breadth and its sort of tolerance as a church. But the idea of there being a God just struck me as being preposterous. And in my excitement of fondness for the Anglican Church, I had forgotten that really believing in God was still a small, in the case of Anglican, but necessary part. And he advised me to come back when God had spoken to me, and I'm still waiting for that moment.